inform the public out there about the game of football. So, as it was stated in the announcement, today's press conference or media engagement will focus on the outcomes of the recent executive committee meeting of the Liberia Football Association held on August 8th. There were several decisions that were taken at that meeting, so those outcomes will be elaborated on by the President. And also update on the FIFA Forward Fund payment and the CAF Impact Fund as well. As you may be aware, the FIFA Forward Fund is divided into two, the payments, and the second payment has to do with conditions that you have to meet the criteria. So the President will be updating the public through you about those criteria that the LFA was able to meet to get whatever amount that will be coming. And then after that, we take questions directly related to topics that were spoken about. If there is a need for us to go to another topic, we will. If there isn't a need, we will. So please let your questions be directed to the topics that will be discussed by the President relative to the Executive Committee meeting, the FIFA Forward Fund, and the CAF Impact Project. Once again, thank you and welcome. At this moment, I will now welcome to the podium the President of the Liberia Football Association, Mr. Mustafa Araji.
Thank you very much, Anthony, and good afternoon to all members present of the press. Again, it's another good time to be here and engage with you. As part of the practice, since we took over to engage with members of the press, as part of our commitment towards transparency and good governance. We also, again, like as the Football Association, continue and keep on with the message of awareness to Liberians in and out, to all around the world. I guess, let's say no to discrimination, no to racism, no to drugs. The issue of drugs has been a big issue in our country, and I think it's our responsibility as sporting federations, citizens of the country, members of the press, to keep up with the awareness, to ensure that we all help our government and those fighting the war against drugs to eradicate drugs out of our country and out of the world. We can all do this by pointing out, reporting, because one way or the other, it affects our society, it affects the economy, it affects our young brothers and sisters in schools, and even those playing football. It is also important to emphasize that it's not just about those who are dealing in drugs or those who are also consuming drugs, but we should also pay attention to those who are involved with laundering money, because it makes no difference. Those who sell those drugs also try and work with those who launder money in and out of our country. So we pray and hope that we can all continue to stand strong and join the hands of our national government to fight against drugs and keep the awareness. We again like to extend our thanks to the Sports Writers Association. In the past, a couple of MOU were signed with the LFA to support, to have a better understanding in terms of the functions and operations of both parties. Thanks to the President, Mr. Varma Kane, Varma and his team of officials who continue to cooperate and work with the Football Association in the interest of football development. Our partnership and your support that we need is geared towards developing each and every sector of our football. It's in no way intended to buy any institution or buy individuals. We've, over the past, supported the travel of a lot of sports journalists attached to the Sports Writers Association, financed the cost to cover our activities and report independently to Liberians. We believe this partnership from the level where we strengthen our football structure will help support in other areas, especially when it comes to media development of our stakeholders and those who are attached to our stakeholders. We are keen on improving because those working within the federations and those who are attached to our federations as media officers or coaches or other representatives of the clubs need to have that expertise and know how to address members of the press. partnership is not only focused around working and coverage, but the landscape is to also improve capacity building and sharing knowledge. We are grateful by this innovative leadership to ensure that we grow football together. We started with the club licensing process, and we are hopeful that we can continue the process where all of our leagues can be covered all over Liberia, be it tier 4 division, grassroots football, first, second, women's football, upper and lower, to ensure that we have a larger coverage for Liberians. Another key focal area that we introduced during our A diploma course, and we believe it will further strengthen our football, is the area of pre and post-match conferences. We're hoping that the leadership of SWAC can also encourage other veterans who've been in the business of football to help develop and build the capacity of our coaches to have a better understanding of pre-post-match conferences and make them stronger, because the representation and interaction of our coaches who state before the members of the press, be it in and out of Liberia, is the image of our country, the branding of our country, and representing all Liberians when they engage in this interaction. And I believe the support of SWAC will better help us, make us stronger, and strengthen the fabrics of each and every sector of our football. We also like to inform you about a few things. First, we'd like to say key focus on the FIFA Forward Program, 3.0 program, the Football Arena project, and other benefits through the FIFA Forward funds. Thanks to President Gianni Infantino for his continued support and focus on Liberia. Through his support and his team, we continue to benefit through the FIFA Forward programs to funding that we solely use for our operations and other projects. As we've emphasized continuously over the period since we took over, giving the guarantee of good governance and transparency, we've ensured that we engage continuously with not only members of the press, our stakeholders, and we depend on members of the press to convey the positive information to all other citizens in and out of Liberia in terms of our activities that we conduct using the money for football and football development. Just to take you back in terms of the FIFA Forward funds, on a cycle basis over the period 2022-2026, each member association, including Liberia Football Association, is entitled to around $3 million covering projects, tailor-made projects agreed by between the Liberia Football Association and FIFA. And that is summed up to the contract of agreed objectives. Those objectives that must be achieved over the period of 2022 to 2026 are some of them that we've started. And today, citizens of Nimba County will soon be celebrating the dedication of a pitch in Gompa City, fully covered by FIFA and through the FIFA Forward funds, project funds allocated to Liberia. With the support of FIFA and the citizens of Nimba who willingly avail the facility to us over a long-term lease, we are proud to announce again to each and everyone that very soon we'll be dedicating our project, valued over 600,000 plus, all with funding from FIFA exclusively. We're highly grateful to national government for giving us the chance and opportunity and the duty-free waiver that was not cash received, but duty-free privilege to bring those inputs into our country. We also would like to inform you that from the $3 million US, there are a couple of other projects that the LFA embarked on. The TDS project for the Talent Development Scheme, valued around 100,000. A portion of that has been used to purchase a bus that will be coming in very soon for the use at the Henry Newman Brown Academy that covers the Talent Development Scheme. We also have a portion of that amount that will be used to purchase computers and other materials to be used at the Technical Center. A portion of 180,000 also allocated for the upgrade of the Technical Center to host our players of the Talent Development Scheme that have been selected to form part of the Henry Newman Brown Football Academy. We also, from the contract of agreed objective, the amount of 80,000 was allotted for the purchase of 3 vehicles, operational vehicles, and motorbikes. We've distributed a couple of those bikes in other parts of our regional associations. And the 3 vehicles are present evidenced by using the money for football on football development, where you can see all of those things purchased by the Football Association being visible at our headquarters. Other projects that we've continued to engage with the project funds includes support to our youth national team activities, past matches played, and balance with which we intend to use to support our U20 girls national teams. We also, through the period, utilized some of the funding for capacity building, also allocated in the contract of review objectives, and we're hoping to come up very soon to proceed with the second application to cover the area of coaching, football administration, referees, sports medicine, and also cooperation with other partners, specifically to enhance and develop the capacity of other journalists who are working in football and women's journalists who intend to join hands with the Football Association to grow the game of football in Liberia. Under the FIFA Forward Funds, each and every year we receive and we are entitled up to $1,250,000 US, with the first tranche of payment with no condition and second with condition. We received the first batch of payment, $650,000 US, utilized between the period January to July and now running into August. During the period, some of those monies were used to support our member clubs as subventions and to operate the Football Association, the coverage of salaries, etc. So far, we've not, over the period since our ascension to the Liberia Football Association, received any payment from national government as operational cost of the Liberia Football Association. We have done so and operated by and through the support of FIFA, Confederation of African Football, and contribution from other sponsors associated with the Liberia Football Association. The second tranche payment, subject to specific criteria defined, 11 criteria, totaling around $600,000 US. During the past year, the Liberia Football Association was unable to fulfill the full requirements due to other factors leading to non-participation of national teams and organization of other competitions within the country. However, I'm proud to announce to each and every one of you, and with the support of a very great team, we as the Liberia Football Association now completed fully, and it's pleased to inform you that this point in time for this period, we are going to receive the full amount of $600,000 US based on the hard work and dedication of our teams, the competition department and the media department, who formulated all of the documentation and support of the technical division to ensure that we met up with the deadlines. Through the period, January to August, we also received in January, as subvention from the CAF Impact Program, $75,000, both of those amounts used as indemnities towards the payment of honorarium to soccer association and subcommittee heads. In the last 2 months, we also received through the CAF Impact Program $275,000 US, with specific criteria defined. Those criteria relate to the operational cost covering the Football Association, the development of women's football, development of youth and grassroots and schools football competition. The Executive Committee, during its meeting on 8 August 2025, met, and with its focus and our aligned to our women's football development strategy, approved an amount of $1,500 have been paid to each of the 12 women's upper league teams as part of its commitment to strengthen and develop women's football in the country. Those clubs will have to apply for the payment to address 3 key areas: sporting equipment, medical, and education. The Audit Compliance Committee of the LFA will send out the final documentation the clubs concerned will be required to apply for these fundings. The Liberia Football Association also, as part of our own vision to strengthen the LFA and to build a better future for those who come after us, to be more innovative and to now introduce and consider the thought of going commercial. So we'll be launching very soon our own match ball branded totally for Liberia, purely Liberia, but to compete with other match balls around the world. Gone are the days, and very soon we are going to get rid of using other brands that are not supportive of the Football Association. Our brand can be compared to all other brands out there to be one of the best. So we are moving forward as approved by the Executive Committee to cover the cost of production of the first batch of balls, more or less around 20,000 balls that we intend to bring to Liberia, to distribute in a way to our clubs and to also put in the general market in Liberia, hopefully out of Liberia. The process is to also move forward to apply for the FIFA Basic Series and later in the future for the FIFA Pro Match balls. We believe in this way is a matter of gaining and developing, distributing, and creating a subsidy for equipment to our clubs, at the same time reinvesting money gains as profits from the sales of those balls into our football program and bringing more equipment into the country. The Liberia Football Association and Executive Committee also take into consideration the growth and development of football, the commitment from each and every one of our stakeholders, views and opinions, recommendations from members of the press and other citizens, sought to focus on the prize monies increase. The Executive Committee for the period 2025-2026 League's National League season decided to increase the cash awards for First Division from $20,000 United States dollars to $30,000 US dollars, and also to increase the cash awards to the First Division and the top women's upper league division team from $20,000 US dollars to $25,000 US dollars. We believe that this amount is going to further help grow, strengthen our clubs, bring more competition amongst the clubs to ensure a better performance or financial stability when they participate in inter-club competition. Today we are happy and grateful to thank the visionary leader, President Dr. Patrice Motsepe, who, as Senator at CAF, has brought a lot of difference at the level of African football. Through the visionary leader, he also launched the CAF Executive Committee approved a payment to all clubs participating in the inter-club competition, both for CAF Cup and CAF Champions League, around $100,000 US dollars to clubs that will be eliminated from the preliminary rounds of the CAF Confederation Cup and the CAF Champions League. We believe with the beginning at our level of increasing this amount competitive in our zone of West Africa and other parts of the world, we think is the best way to go in terms of making our leagues attractive and bringing more competition into our football. The Executive Committee also focused on other developmental areas in terms of the activation of the football zones, the activation of coordinators to support the activation and enforcement of the domestic transfer matching system, the activation of the competition management system to be introduced into Monserrado, Margibi, and Nimba counties respectively. We believe as part of the growth of football and where we've expanded our football activities, we now need to move from one level to another. Focus on the talent development scheme. Very soon, we will be moving bulk of our players at the level of the talent development scheme covered under the Henry Newman Bryan Academy to the George Manamuna Technical Center. Again, we would like to remind you, as a means of generating funding and creating stability in our football, we believe and we are confident that the talent development scheme will yield positive results and more returns financially in terms of gains to reinvest into our football structure that is going to cover the level of grassroots football, youth football competitions, and also senior competitions. Very soon, we'll be launching the grassroots football festivals in around 7 counties, the grassroots activities in school football. We'll also be launching a couple of other tournaments in non-footballing areas. Today, we've classified the country into different sectors, and there are challenges in terms of football activities in some part of our counties. We want to give each and every child a chance. We want to continue giving each and every talent a chance. We believe you also have a responsibility to spread that message, to also encourage young boys and girls to play. Our focus also is going to be directed to the creation and development of more sporting infrastructure. With the growth and increase in young boys and girls eager and wanting to play football, the number of sporting infrastructures in our country is limited. We continue to embark on this journey to create more playing facilities, not only in Monserrado County, but to expand in other parts of Liberia. So far, we have an MOU signed with the authorities of Virginia County. We are working on another with Maryland County. We've also obtained an MOU from Lofa County and Grand Cape Mount counties respectively. We believe the drive to create sporting infrastructure is not only focused on creating structures, but it's one way or the other as part of the LFA commitment to align with the vision of the President and Chief Patron of Sports, President Walker, in creating a chance and opportunity for boys and girls to participate in sports. We also, as the Football Association, believe in job creation, being short and long-term jobs. By the creation of these infrastructures and these facilities, we are creating jobs, short-term jobs for young Liberians, long-term jobs for those who will serve as stadium attendants, gatekeepers, ticket sellers, etc. The Football Association is here for each and every Liberian, and our focus is not limited to only the development of pitches, but we also want to develop pitches and facilities for top league clubs, but we also direct our focus to communities, boys and girls in school. The football arena project that we also embarked with the first pilot at the Bible Mission School and the shopping barracks is on the way and soon to be completed. We've finalized with the sub base and now awaiting the arrival of Greenfields to come and continue with the laying of the 2 pitches. Materials for those pitches are now in Liberia, so currently awaiting the processing from the side of Greenfields to proceed with the installation of the pitches at Bible Way Mission School and that of the shuffling barracks. The project at the Willie D. Knuckles Sports Complex pitch is ongoing. Now we are waiting the official launch of the tender so that interested FIFA preferred providers can visit the country and do the overall assessment and later revert to FIFA for final decision making in terms of the awards to either of those companies that will be participating in the tender process. During the period under review, we as the Football Association also embarked on another journey, creating a bigger opportunity for more experienced, more developed and highly educated people to participate in our football development program. We launched and signed a partnership with the Tubman University to continue with our football and sports sciences at the level of the universities. We believe it's the new beginning for our football. We need to bring in more quality, giving opportunities to those who are in universities to participate in our diploma courses while they are enrolled in the university. But it's our hope that when they graduate or during the period of the schooling, they can also be involved in football, obtaining a D diploma, C diploma, B and A diploma in football coaching. We also are proud to inform you that we ended 2 coaching courses, the C diploma course and the A. Since 2014, the Football Association was unable to proceed with the A diploma course and fortunate to finalize through the coaches convention and did the first of the A diploma courses since 2014. I was held this year in Liberia. 15 participants, 4 from out of Liberia. We are hopeful and remain confident that all should make a pass. The diplomas will be issued to all of the coaches who pass through the CAF system from the Technical Development Division of CAF. And once submitted, we'll come back to the press and inform them in terms of those who participated and were successful. For the unsuccessful candidates, they will be required to go through another 6 months of training and go back for retesting. Again, members of the press, not to bore you or prolong our discussion, we as the Football Association remain assured that we'll continue to update you, a practice that we introduced since we took over the Football Association, because it's part of our responsibility to serve you. We believe in creating positive impact, and we stand on this ground to ensure that we make those positive impacts in the interest of all Liberians. Again, we are open to your questions, recommendations, and reviews on activities of the Football Association. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we'll now begin to take questions.
So thank you very much. My name is Aaron Muba, and it is my debut in your media engagement. both for DN News Liberia, as a matter of fact, the general manager of that emerging media institution. Let me begin by commending you firstly for the issue has to do with grassroots football. Since your excellency, you've been doing well in terms of some of the development of football infrastructures across the country. One of the points I want to inject is the issue about the increment in the cash prize award. When you mentioned the amount, $30,000, I thought that it sounded, very much low. Why don't we use our currency? That's about 6 million. So you took this from 1.5 million in 2019 to 6 million Liberians, which is very huge. Now, my question is, out of what you deliberated on within a year, the aspect of the government of Liberia, quite recently you appeared on Punch FM, where you made a declaration about a request, that is, that the government should allocate around $5 million for football annually if we are to see some results. What's the status of that request? Have you forwarded anything? I believe by now there should be some level of review in terms of the draft budget for 2026. Have there been discussions on what has been the response of the government in relation to your $5 million request? As we know, you have a $5.7 million budget that you just discussed with the executive committee. Is the government looking in that direction to bring some relief to you by allocating, if not the $5 million, or something closer to that?
Thank you very much. So, yes, we had a budget around 5.some million or more US dollars. Part of the budget is based on the allocation that we expect still from national government. We've held a couple of meetings. In the last month, we engaged with the Minister of Sports, the leadership of the LFA, and we discussed. We are requested to submit all of the documentations, specifically those about payables that are still not been addressed, ranging from universal travels, RLG, etc. We are also informed that they were not ready yet as the Minister of Sports to receive the budgets for the period 2026. But we are prepared as the LFA from the level of our grassroots program, U15 national team, U17 national team, U20 national team for boys, U15, 17, 20, and senior for women's. And we're hoping that the idea can be embraced. We also discussed about subsidy to clubs, because today, bulk of the players who participate in the national county sports meets, they all come from clubs and league development. And we think one way or other, considering that the Liberia National Old Timer Association can get a contribution to the budget, why not clubs who are participating in the league and contributing directly to the success of our national teams' participation, being women's or men. So it's something that we're discussing. We remain hopeful. I'm one person that will always remain hopeful that government will someday address our needs, especially the needs of young people to play football, because it's part of our responsibility to promote, protect, and develop football in our country.
I'm Thomas Ojogola. I work for Freedom FM and the Liberian Investigator. Mr. President, I heard a lot about the increment about the money for the winner in the first division from 20,000 to 10,000. Women's upper league from 20,000 to 25,000. That is good. I'm a bit concerned about the issue of match fixing. Clubs finishing below the first place, the second, the third, the fourth. What is going to happen to them? Many are concerned that there is no reward for them. So at times, when the gap is open wide top of the league table, teams second to bottom, they don't fight for anything. Maybe probably we see clubs
go to games with less players to show up because they believe that when they finish second, there will be no rewards for them. Is the Football Association thinking about that? And now to reward clubs that will finish second, third, fourth, something like that?
Well, thank you very much. That's what we introduced, and we are hopeful that once we have more in the basket, we can address. But I wouldn't want to agree with you. I would completely disagree with you that our officials or players or club officials are involved in match fixing or have a thought of engaging in such. We have a league that's been running successfully. Maybe there are some sessions or allegations. We're hoping that evidences can be provided relative to that, but from what we've seen, our teams have been fighting to win the championship. And the reason why we are more or less pushing on part of the championship, participation in the inter-club competition is not a child's play. It involves a lot of money, and from the look of the Football Association, our consideration is to first look at how we can address the cash prize monies for those who will be participating, especially the champions at the level of the inter-club competitions. On the other part, we're looking at league development, where the league can be developed in a way that clubs can start getting returns from the games proceeds through bringing in the fans. And a couple of that was discussed at the level of executive committee, and we are considering giving 100% access to those teams who will be playing home at the LFA facility to manage the gates and take all of the money to themselves. And that's why, if you can recall, in terms of strengthening our clubs and strengthening our leagues, we made a lot of waivers as the Football Association. To remind you all, we waived registration fee payments, no club pay registration fee from the level first, second division, and upper league to participate in the league. That was waived, something that took place in the past, but we waived that, over $250 waived to clubs. We also waived the payment and purchase of free agent clearances. No club paid for free agent clearances. We also reduced the cost for yellow and red cards at the level of clubs, ensuring that more money still with the clubs because of what they do. And the biggest one is that we also waive all shares intended to come to the LFA or any player for the level of transfers of players. So today, if you hear a player being sold for $100,000 out there, all of the money goes directly to the club and the LFA has no shares. It's our own way of giving back to the club and strengthening it. So on the other part, in the middle, we are hoping that the clubs can also try as much as possible to increase their brand representation, to increase the fan base, so that when matches are scheduled, they can also move to the stadium. Thank you.
Mr. President, I'm Fatima Zabari. Few concerns quickly. First, another international window is here, and Thomas Kojo is set to be used as a stand-in coach, emphasis on standing. The public would like to know, why is Kojo constantly being used as a standing coach? Is there any major reason why national government and the FA are unable to get a permanent coach for the senior national team? Secondly, Mr. President, recently I saw the Liberia Football Association designated head of delegation to determine your... Okay. Thirdly, Mr. President, I was fortunate to cover the Women's African Cup of Nations, the pinnacle of women's football in Africa, and I saw the third Vice President, Madam Jody Rees-Seaton, at said event throughout the tournament on many counts. Mr. President, what does Madam Seaton's participation at that level means for the LFA and women's football generally in the country, specifically looking at the growth and relevance it is getting at the continent and beyond?
Well, first, bravo to the Sport Writers Association for, developing, standing with a female who represented, not only you represent yourself, but I believe you represented the Sport Writers Association and represented Liberia ably at the Women's AFCON. Congratulations to you for standing up among all of the veterans, men, and other experts in football in Liberia, Sport Writers, that you will bravely come and cover the AFCON. It's a good thing, good beginning for Liberia, and I mean, we feel good seeing you there. And also a female referee. Today, I mean, we can celebrate our referees getting assignments. I think it's part of our responsibility to just grow it up, because in the past, many complained about referees that they only stood in Liberia and officiated matches. Today, I've been selected and designated out there to go and fly the flag of our country where I participated in these competitions. Our idea of developing women's football is not only focused around just the clubs, but we want to develop women's participation in football at the level of administration, at the level of leadership. And today, we are happy and proud that through the level of the executive committee, our appointment works to push our own, a Liberian, who currently serves as still vice president of the Liberia Football Association and a member of the Women's Football Committee participating in such an event. We want to see not only Madam Seaton, we want more Liberians. When we participate in this competition as members of the organizing committee, we yearn for the presence of more Liberians involvement. And it's all based on the performances of those that are designated during this competition. So, I mean, the sky is the limit. Today, we talk about Madam Seaton, we talk about the referees, we talk about yourself. We want to see more Liberians out there. And we're being committed, as president of the Football Association, to create that platform for more Liberians to participate in international competitions, for more Liberians to represent Liberia at the level of various standing committees, at the level of higher football bodies. We think it is now time for Liberia, it is now time for Liberians being involved in football. And it's evident that our leadership has brought a difference to that by, pushing the interests of Liberians today at the level of WAFU, at the level of CAF, and very soon at the level of FIFA. We want each and every one of us citizens to be patient also, to celebrate those who are there and wait for our time. Yes, Mr. Thomas Kojo will serve as standing coach. The situation is that we do not have the money to finance a foreign coach. So we've worked along with the Ministry of Sports to agree that Mr. Thomas Kojo, who is also a Liberian, a legend who played a veteran footballer, to continue in the capacity as head coach of the national team for our matches against Tunisia and Malawi. We are hoping that in the future, depending on the decision of the Technical Development Committee of the Liberia Football Association, and if the government is in a position to finance the coming of a foreign coach, we will be able to do so.
Okay, thank you. My name is John David from OKFM. I care to know recently the District League got concluded, and we know the District League is used as a gateway to preparation for the National County Sports Meet. You attended that event. What the president there actually meant for the District League, and secondly, recently, Senator of Grand Gila County, that's Roji Bosa Sili, appeared on our Sports Desk program in terms of pushing the establishment of an agency, and he said that they will try to support national teams and other football activities. Have you getting an idea of that, and what are the negotiations like? And thirdly, in the increment of the budget for the Orange Cup, the First Division League, Women's League, what are discussions like in terms of the budget being actualized in putting it into perspective for those who will be winners in using it for the right purpose?
Well, thank you. The prize money is the prize money. Once the club wins it, it's left with the board of the club to decide how they're going to use that, because it's actually the prize money for the work done over the period. So the Football Association cannot limit or control the club how they celebrate the use of that fund. If it is a development fund like we've done from the Impact Program as Women's Football Development Funds, we decide on the specific area to use those funding. For example, I stated for sporting equipment, medical, all education of your players. So if a club, for example, apply for 1,500, they have to use it for those in those 3 areas. If you come to prize money, it's a bit different in terms of what the club intend to do, and we cannot control the clubs. Yes, we celebrate the passing of that wonderful bill about the Sports Authority, and then we look up to national government through the Ministry of Sports. That is our own line ministry to see how we as the Football Association can benefit from that area. Yes, we launched the district leagues in Montserrado, very exciting, and the overall objective is not to prepare players for National County Sports Meet, but it was a time for social interaction, bringing district representatives from all over Montserrado together, bringing our citizens together, interacting, coming with exchanges, creating opportunity for young boys and girls who have not played football, over the period, who were engaged in school activities and during vacation, gave them the chance to showcase their talents. The regrettable part about it is that we could not hold the women's edition of it. It's something that is very key that we want to do. But I felt happy seeing the representative of District Number 9 celebrate with the speaker on his head. It's football, that's the passion, the joy. It's something that we want to see. We also felt good that the business people around the Tusaffield area made a lot of money. So the game of football today, we have a responsibility to promote the game and promote it in a positive way. And we're looking at that positive impact we continue to make as the Football Association, creating jobs, creating chance for young boys and girls to play, creating an atmosphere where we can engage with our leaders, interact directly with our lawmakers, something that we saw the district representative 9, that of 13, everyone pouring at the Tusaffield, and want to see more of it. Now, it created also a platform and opportunity for those who will be preparing for National County Sports Meet to identify talents to represent their counties. We do not want to limit this activity to Montserrado. Very soon, we'll be starting up with the district leagues in Grand Bassa County, seeing what to do in Bon County. The intent is not only to just have the district league playing around, but we want to show to Liberians that we have talents in each and every one of the counties developing and playing football. And the county authorities now turn their focus on how they can identify and scout those talents to represent their county instead of importing players from other counties to represent them. And by doing this over the period, it's not going to happen overnight, but by continuing getting the permission to roll out the national district leagues all over Liberia and bringing the final competition, we are going to showcase another breed of talent, another young kid who is way there in Bakulu County that will come out and have the opportunity to play better football for all of us. So again, thanks to you also as members of the press who covered the activities of the district leagues in Montserrado County. Something good. Bravo to the team, the competitions committee, competitions department, and the media department who worked very hard to ensure that we had a very successful Montserrado district leagues. And thanks to all of the lawmakers, they made the sacrifices, they invested, the fans who pulled at the Tusaffield, and more to come. I believe it will be far more better district league during the next period of 2026.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Colin Mars is my name. 3 concerns. You talk about the Tubman University, the agreement you have with them. I'm wondering what motivated you to go into giving them the opportunity or the privilege to conduct the diploma courses. Were there other universities that came and said they had interest? What were maybe the requirements that got them to be given the permission to do the diploma courses? 2, you talk about the increasing the prices, cash prices. That's very good. I'm just wondering whether the additional money added to it, is it coming from the sponsors or is it coming from some of the money FIFA is giving you? And the last one has to do with club licensing. over the years, I know the FA has to relax a lot of the requirement issues in the club licensing. But when we move around to clubs, we know they will tell you, because one of the key there is that they should have a club headquarters or office space. There are several of these clubs, they wouldn't show the LFA agents who go do the inspection their offices. After that, those offices are no more existing. We are going to a new system. Are there new requirements? Are there some stringent actions that you are going to take to make sure that people fully comply with the club licensing? Because they will tell you this is our office, and after that, that's it. So where is the FA on this enforcing maybe the minimum requirement you have, for club licensing? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The cash prices, yes, we are confident we provide it to the clubs. The increase is based on what we believe our envelope will be during 2026. So on that basis, we decided to increase the amounts. Be it come for sponsors we have or come from our operational costs, we will certainly be able to provide that. The process of club licensing, it's not something that I launched in any way, but we tried to develop. And in the past, if we compare what happened in the past, we've made a lot of changes in terms of penalties, reduction of costs, looking at the level of our clubs, FP fees, moving way down, up from $2,000 US to around $500, even though many other clubs complain that it's too much. A lot of fees have been reduced, but we created a pathway. And today, as member of the press, it's also good to help to report it that one club or two clubs are providing wrong information. But if you look at our clubs who are participating in the CAF Champions League today, they have to meet those requirements. CAF is not going to give no exception. So first, the club must have a stadium. I mean, today you have to provide a lease agreement and evidence that yes, the SKD is turned over to you. That's what CAF means. You must have an evidence of a treaty pitch. So as the Football Association looking at our Champions League will be representing us, we must enter into a lease as one of our facilities that used to train because they train. But there are other key areas that you must address. For example, you cannot go to an inter-club competition with a B licensed coach. No more. It's A. So if you are respecting the laws as a club at the level of the inter-club competition, you must respect in the domestic regulations. So there's something called spot checks. Yes, the club will come and tell us already have the office space located at St. Paul, maybe in the UN building or somewhere. We go and inspect the first time, but it's not the end. And that's the reason why in the regulations talk about spot checks. And when we start to conduct spot checks, others assume that it's witch hunting. Well, if it's witch hunting, I want to be a witch hunter. Because we must ensure that we professionalize the clubs. We must ensure that the level of our clubs grow. And we are doing it in a very easy and flexible way. It's not something that we want to introduce to get at any club, but it's a responsibility and an obligation on our part as a member association that is benefiting from FIFA and CAF. And they want us to go through this process. So the spot checks, again, will be increased. The level of spot checks you saw for the very first time they launched the spot checks at the level of the business registry, what happened. And others who did not understand, misinterpreted the Football Association thought that was getting a specific club. But 10 clubs, the names of 10 clubs were sent to the business registry. Now, if one identified as a club who was engaged in providing a wrong documentation, it was our responsibility to take action. Now, the arm of government also had a responsibility if they want to let it slide in terms of identifying the source of that instrument or that document, all right, to pursue it and to avoid any other institution going to present it elsewhere. Well, fine, that's part of the government, but you as members of the press, look at the regulations, and it's just open, it's a smooth way of working with the clubs. If you say you have a doctor, health come first. Those who play football must be checked. So the players participating in the matches must be checked. You must have the medical clearance. We're not saying one doctor should be assigned to a team. A doctor can serve more than 4 or 5 clubs. But we must have the evidence that that doctor, you know, is assigned and working with the club. The club must also have a person responsible for its finances. Today, I'm happy and proud, Mr. Zeze, that when we took over the LFA, we saw that a lot of the clubs were not legal entities or recognized by national government. At some point, some of those clubs were not legally recognized by government, were forced to go and obtain business registrations. It's part of our responsibility. And I'm also happy and stand, I want to say bravo to our stakeholders through the process of what we introduced, through the licensing and all the different policies we introduced. Our clubs contribute to the national government in terms of payment of taxes. We have a huge increase in terms of registration, business registrations, and also taxes from proceeds generated from the gates. So it's something I'm proud of, that as one of the federations in Liberia, we've worked along with our stakeholders in making significant contribution to the little efforts to pay into government coffers. And that's the reason why when we speak and say we need subsidy to support clubs, there is a need, because today we stand tall among all federations in Liberia, and we're adhering to a lot of these government policies and laws to support the national budget. The Autonomous University, sorry. So look, coming to the football, before coming to the Football Association, we created a picture. Today, all of what you see is a picture that we drew a long time ago. It's not just happening by magic. We have quality coaches in Liberia, no disrespect. But we want to increase the number of coaches, bring more quality, create more opportunity. Our responsibility as the Football Association is not only to promote, protect, and develop football, but we also want to create jobs for young Liberians who are in universities, vocational schools, etc. Tottenham University is not the only university we embrace. We engaged. But however, they were the first to be very receptive of the idea of sports sciences. Let us all think. Some of us, I believe, or most of us, went to high schools or participated, those that went to university, also participated in physical education courses. Let us think. When you go to physical education or PE class, I remember we just used to run around, that's it. Or we do jumping jack, that's it. But what we want to introduce as the LFA is not just to exercise, but to create the opportunity for other young Liberians to gain additional education and qualification in the area of coaching, refereeing, sports medicine, etc. That they can still be in university and be a coach for a grassroots team and get paid. They can still be in university going through the periods of the 3-4 years, all right, and obtain a C diploma, but with higher quality, better understanding, because now football is evolving. And with the innovation that we brought to football, the introduction of match analysis, all right, it's going to be good for students in the university. So we have those who play football, who want to be coaches. We are not against that. We have those who follow football, who want to be coaches. We're happy about that. But we also, as the Football Association, want to grow more coaches, have more expertise that will now give back to our young people, not limited in one county. So Tottenham University is there. We want to go to Nima, engage with all of the community colleges to introduce these trainings. And our coaches, our coach educators, will visit those places and deliver the courses. In that way, in the next 4 or 5 years, we'll have more coaches or people or individuals within universities who have the option to select from the sports sciences, coaching, refereeing, football administration, etc. I think it's a better way of creating more opportunity for young Liberians and creating a better future for our football and for sports.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Albert Fanien, and my question is about your increment for women's division from 1,500 to 7,500. And I'm concerned about some of the clubs last season, they complained about having ambulance or medical vehicle on the field whenever a player is strangulated. What are you thinking in that direction? You've already increased their budget.
Thank you very much. Again, bear with me if we share the same ideas you want to settle. Our country, the entire country is challenged in terms of ambulances. If you speak to medical experts, ambulances are not just stationed at league venues all of the time. When you play international competition, yes, because it's dependent on a number of people gathering in one place. We had a meeting with the emergency medical services. We're still discussing with them. We are also looking at how we can support it in terms of having the first responders available at our very venues. Howbeit, it's also on the part of each and every one of our stakeholders to understand that the Football Association is in no way intending to deny them opportunity of medical services and care. Yes, playing a league match, each and everyone complains that you want an ambulance. But the ambulance is not just about the players, it's about everyone. But what about when you go to practice? Don't you think you also need medical attention? So it's a problem that we have in our country that, we do not have sufficient medical facilities, ambulances all around Liberia. That's the first challenge we look at. Now, if you're now changing the role of the LFA to have ambulances at each of these league venues, imagine, we have football playing over 15 counties in Liberia. We don't have the financial capacity to have ambulances all over. So what we are introducing is a partner with other institutions. However, we, as stated, will have emergency vehicles available when deemed necessary. We'll have the first responder just in case there are emergencies to go and respond to those emergencies.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I'm Sam Mola from the Far newspaper, also present Sports Talks on Care Radio. So I got a few concerns, starting with a follow-up maybe from one of the questions that were asked, just related to sponsorship. You explained a lot, but we've not heard much about sponsorship, the status of sponsorship for the new league season, if there is any, and if there is none, what's the engagement still like to have one, because we just had a whole season without sponsor. And then the next thing have to do with, our next concern have to do with the upcoming fixtures for the national team in this international window. During the Congress the last time, if I can recall, you were discussing with the minister and other stakeholders that national government be the one taking responsibility of the national teams in terms of securing and then running after the expenses in their own name from government, rather than putting the LFA into debts that have not been paid and that could owe the FA. So I want to know the expenses of the national team, if there is any budget for the upcoming games. Have you secured funding for travel expenses and other stuff related to the couple of fixtures that are coming up in September? And then I also want to know if there is any update on the Antoinette Tottenham Stadium. It's been some time, we've not heard much about the status of the stadium, and we're going to a new league. Is it going to be used maybe the second half of this coming season, or probably maybe the first half? How soon we expect it to be open to use? And then lastly, the recent executive committee meeting decided that in the 2026-2027 league season will be an increase of teams. So I just want to know how is increase done in the number of teams, especially at the level of the national league, starting with the first division. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. So a few points. The issue of sponsorship you have mentioned, we're still engaging with partners for sponsors to sponsor the LFA. And once those sponsors finalize with the LFA, we'll be able to distribute payments we receive like we've done in the past with our member clubs. On the part of the ATS, massive work ongoing. Challenges in terms of shipping to Liberia has been the biggest delay. Also the production of raw materials. We have now, I think, remaining around maybe 8 more tons of crushed stones that should be delivered at the ATS to finalize the amount of crushed stones for the sub-base. We've also received around 2 other containers that brought in the glue for the mixture of the SBR that will be placed. The shipment of the artificial grass from Turkey is already heading to Liberia. That's around 16 containers. We've now finalized, and very soon they'll be shipping the silica sand because they could not find the quality of sand for the turf in Liberia. So they'll be bringing containers of sand from Morocco or Spain to proceed with the infill of the pitch. So a lot of challenges we face in terms of getting some of the material locally, but now we're sure that before maybe before December or first week in November, the pitch most likely will be ready to have access and play football. But the work is ongoing. If you visit the ATS, massive work, a lot of money spent by the Moroccan Football Federation to ensure that we have this completed. But the biggest challenge is about the shipping of materials coming in on time to complete the projects. Also, you talk about the national team. A couple of meetings held with the Ministry of Sports, and the executive committee, we decided that looking at all of the ping pong, different kind of accusations and allegations coming from individuals who do not understand the workings of the LFA and the Ministry of Sports, we informed them again that they need to take over all financial responsibility as the Ministry of Sports. During the first meeting, it was clearly stated that the ministry didn't have the capacity to do so. We are still pushing that the ministry take that responsibility on their part. We will identify the LFA, for example, the hotels, and let the ministry go and pay. We identify the travel agency, they can go and pay directly. We provide a list of the players that they pay directly, because it has also affected, continue to affect the LFA. You find out that the LFA budget is going to be so huge because it's based on projection and funding expected from national government. And at some point in time, we don't receive those fundings. And in the end, the picture looks different. Today, we still have those debts in existence from other vendors, and it's reflecting on the books of the Football Association. It's not reflected as payment due from government, but from the Liberia Football Association, because we manage the issue of national team. Yes, I can confirm that we submitted the budget for the matches against Tunisia, and on the 4th. And then on the 8th, we also need to play Malawi. It's a complicated one. We submitted all documents, and mind you, some of the difficulties we face, once the documents submitted, and those of you who are in the hall that have traveled outside, you know the kind of experience when you book a ticket today and you do not pay and want to pay 2 days or 3 days to the departure time, the prices will change. And that's some of the difficulties we always experience with the national team travel, because at some point, some of the travel agencies do not even want to provide you the ticket because of preferred debts. You're also aware that traveling with a huge delegation, you must book a hotel. No hotel want to go and take you on credit. Biggest problem that we've experienced so many times, we have to use our presence and relationship with others in different countries to stand on our behalf, and sometimes when the money don't comes, it becomes embarrassing. So we are hoping, and we remain also very positive that the funding will come on time to address those issues. So far, the national team started the training, okay, and what we have is the funding of $2,500 received from the Ministry of Sports. There was through a donation made by Mr. Kebe, and that's what we have used. We're starting now to use for the training of the national team. The that is exhausted. Well, there will be no additional funding for the national team. That's what we find ourselves, because we must also be careful as the LFA, and the executive committee has decided that the responsibility taken by Minister of Sports, because our efforts, has been discredited by unscrupulous individuals out there, and it's important that people understand in terms of the level the LFA extends its support to ensure that the national team truly being on credit or putting our reputation on the line. And we're hoping that we can someday get there. Now, bravo and thanks to the former legend for coming out with that bill, the National Sports Authority, and we're hoping that we can start getting the necessary funding and support through those that agency to support our music football.
Yes. My name is Francis.
Sorry, so the executive committee just approved that beginning 2026, 2027 season, and not only to increase the number of things. I'm sorry I didn't really speak on that in depth. We also approved that we want to synchronize the leagues. So the Women's Upper League will also be first division, the Women's Lower League second division. All right, that's the intent. So we have a better picture, bigger picture of our leagues in the first division from both men's and women's. We put more care as the executive committee because we didn't want where people assume that the formation of these leagues is intended to increase the number of people to participate in elections. So that will come into effect after the elections of the Liberia Football Association in April of 2026. Yes, we want to increase the number of teams at the level of the first division from 14 to 16, and the idea is that we've seen now the competition is growing, getting stronger, bigger, so we want to create a chance where we have 16 in the first division, but during that period, we have the last 3 teams going to playoffs, and one of those teams will remain, 2 will be relegated, and we will move from the second division to the first division of the Indian system. I hope I've answered the question. Also, we are also looking at moving also the women's first division to also make it 14 and the women's second division 14, but that is now under review by the Technical Development Committee, Competitions Committee, to ensure that we have a better balance and understanding, because the women's football is also getting stronger and we need to create that chance to have more matches played. We saw the challenges faced with our teams in the past, and we are looking at creating more match experience for our girls, and not a short-term window where we will not be prepared fully for international competition.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. President. Francis Clayton here. Since you broke the news about the increment in the prize money, there have been positive feedback on social media. That is just the first division and the women upper division. What about the second division? Is there any reason why they are still stagnated and not going up, at least for the upcoming season? And secondly, I really admire the level of involvement of the LFA in the push for this anti-drug campaign. And during the district tournament final, the 2 captains combined and read messages, denouncing this whole menace that we find ourselves in as a country. Is that something the LFA would like to continue in the upcoming season?
Well, yes. But first, let me answer the other question about the prize money. The second division champions walks away with $10,000 US every season. And to also inform other members, the cup is now $10,000 US for both male and female. $10,000 US for the cup. So the winner of the cup will walk away with $10,000 US in the male category and the female category. The part of the drug awareness, yes, we can guarantee that we will continue with it, because it's moving into our sports. Regardless of it moving to our sports, it's part of our responsibility, each and every Liberian. If you think your kid is not affected, beware that sometimes they associate or they who associate with the wrong person. So it's about all of us. It's our responsibility to keep on the awareness, not to stop. There must be continuous. And we are working with our medical committee to ensure that during the league games, we will start to inject players and test them. If you recall, a couple of players have gathered information that players are now consuming different kind of products, for enhancement, to strengthen them, or also for stamina. We're going to inject them, and if we found any banned substance within the system, we're going to sanction them. I think it's a way of helping, because drugs is also, or has also destroyed a couple of our great talents, and we need to all join hands, to avoid it. So we are certainly going to continue with it. We are also working on how we can have billboards placed in all of our playing areas to ensure that we keep on pushing the message. For those who will not be present in the field, those who will be following our games online, players who will be coming onto the field, to ensure that yes, we must all say, keep drugs out of Liberia and give a red card to drugs.
So, my name is Pierre Zoyu. I applaud you for the level of work done so far. I just have a concern relative to the Montserrat District League. I want to know as to whether are there plans or talks with the leadership of the Liberia Kickball Federation to include kickball in the 2026 edition?
Thank you very much. My federation is football. I want football to be the #1 priority sports for both boys and girls in Liberia. We are not against the activities of other federations, but our focus is keen and focus on women's playing football, boys and girls playing football. However, as the Liberia Football Association creates playing facilities, we will not deny any other federation to use the facilities when they are available, because we are all together and these infrastructures we are constructing is in the interest and for Liberians to use. So if there are other federations who are involved in activities that they plan, we avail our facilities when we are not utilizing them to have a chance to also showcase the talent. But our priority and my responsibility is to protect, promote, and develop football in each and every corner in Liberia.
So finally, Banaka.
Yes, Mr. President, I'm Roland Banaka, report for WIS TV. Thank you firstly for the organization of the Montserrat National District League. But there have been a few concerns from the districts in relation to some of them not been getting full support from their district leadership, precisely the lawmakers. They have faced the level of financial challenge. And then over the period of 1 year, the last edition of the district league before the recent one, no district has recorded, received gate intakes as it was done previously. So what is the LFA doing in relation to work with the lawmakers who have not been able to support their respective district teams, or what is the LFA doing to help curtail the situation of financial burdens on the district?
Well, the LFA is apolitical. Our focus is to develop, bring young people together, play, create a chance for them to play, socially engage, interact, create, and develop and improve, showcase their talents to the rest of the world and to other Liberians. Take them from the streets, put their focus on football. Football continuously during the period of vacation. What we can do is to continue in that direction, create an opportunity for them to play. We have chairpersons in the various districts that we engage, and we open up engagements to districts who are interested in participating in our competition, not obliged. They are not forced in any way to participate in our competition. So it's at their own will to participate, engage, and enjoy themselves playing football. We are hoping that at some point we can design a structure where the games can be given on a home and away basis to the district, but it's something we have to develop because, mind you, we have limited facilities. There are some facilities that the fans are unable to reach, and besides the Tusa field that we see, and the ATS is ongoing, renovation. So we are looking at how we can improve and develop it so far. The other part in terms of getting returns, I'm aware that other districts receive, but this is completely subsidized from the ATS. Referees are paid from funding generated, and at some point in time the LFA has to subsidize. So they're still reviewing payments generated, and if the payments are in excess in terms of after the coverage of all payments to referees and stewards and sports methods, etc., the LFA will definitely share any other additional funding with the various districts who participated. Albeit, we're being committed also paying the cash prizes to the district champions, because it's part of our responsibility. But again, as we continue, I'm sure we'll be coming soon where others will have more interest to come and serve as sponsors. Our idea is to move this at the national level. If we are given the chance by other county authorities, and very positive during that period, we will get more sponsors to come in, and we can be able to now redistribute funds coming from those sponsors to the various districts and the teams.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you once again, members of the press, for honoring our invite to form part of this all important media engagement. So the soft copy of the press release that you have was shared to the Sports Writers Association chat room, and the media department is also available to provide detail on any concerns that you may have within the press release that was distributed to you in the chat room. So once again, we say thanks for coming, and for those who didn't read their attendance, the attendance sheet is right here for you to read their name. And we'll provide further detail if there is a need in the Sports Writers Association chat room. Thank you very much.
Thank you.